Hey, so I want to make a video talking about this app that I use called Gridwise. I actually had someone comment on one of my videos. Unfortunately, I didn't notice the comment because I haven't been really active on YouTube. But they were talking about like trying to find the best DoorDash zones, and so I actually want to share this app that I've been using. And I know a lot of like gig drivers, like they're all fucking try to make money off of Solo or whatever. I've downloaded Solo and I don't want to be mean or nothing, but for me, the app wasn't really, I don't know, like after you use Gridwise, like there's not a lot of you gig utility apps that you're gonna want to use. Like after you use Gridwise, you're kind of like, all right, I found the gold standard for, you know, gig utility apps, if you will. Like, essentially, I got it kind of mirrored here on the screen. I apologize. This is a very low production cost here. I just downloaded this screen mirroring thing. This is the first time I'm doing it, so I gotta control it from my phone. But that's what I'm gonna do. Just because this is like this app, I use this app every time I go to work. Um, I really like the app. So I want to talk about the main features that I use. Uh, First thing is tracking your miles, right? Like simple. See there, I just click there, I just turn that shit on, and you start tracking your miles. I turn that on when I start work, and it starts tracking my miles. And I like that it also has that time clock. As you can see there, the time is going up. So what I like to do a lot of times when I'm working is I'll keep an eye on that. So like let's say I'm 3 hours in, I want to see how much have I made so far in 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours, whatever. And I like that there's a little time clock right there, so I can kind of try to keep a pace, which one of the things I wish, like I hope to God one day that can figure out how to do this because I don't have the technical ability to do something like this, and I don't even know if it's possible. But if they could have live um income tracking, like kind of like make it almost like a video game, right? So if like okay, time clock is going, right? And this thing would overlay on top of your screen the time. So you start your gridwise, and then boom, you're at $0, right? You just started for the day, and then boom, you dropped off your first order, $5, and you've been online for 20 minutes. So now the pace tracker automatically updates, and now it says you're making whatever, $15 an hour. And then you see it like going down, right? Because right now you haven't completed another order, so it's like $15 and it goes down to 14.95, 14.90, and so it keeps your pace, right? So I think that would be the coolest thing ever. If anybody could do it, this would be the company to do it because they're already in the app space, whatever. Like I hope they do that. Maybe who knows? Maybe they'll see this video and they'll do it. I know that would be a big like investment in terms of resources, but man, like if I could see my live income pace as I'm working, dude, that shit would be so sick because you could see in real time like what orders are really pushing your pace faster and what orders are really fucking slowing you down that you are taking because you're not pacing properly, right? Anyways, um that's the first feature that I use. Obviously, people use whatever app they want to use for tracking their miles, but the thing that I like about Gridwise is that it's not just the mileage tracking, they have other features. So to me, I'm going to use it because you have the mileage tracking and all this other stuff. So and I don't use the automatic tracking, even though if you have the Plus subscription, you can have the automatic track. I don't like that shit. So I've never used it with Gridwise. Maybe theirs is better, but anyways, that's the first thing. So then you have just a easy overview of like what's going on with your life here. So I don't really use it for this feature, but for most people, I think this would be really cool for you to use. is like it keeps track of your earnings for the year and for the week and for the month and whatever. So this is not super accurate because I also work for like Deliver That and Zifty and some I don't think it's got all of my the fuck is this? All right, hopefully I didn't mess up my recording. But yeah, like Zifty, all this like I don't it's not keeping track of everything perfectly. I think like also in California, the healthcare stipend, I don't know if it's keeping track of that. So it's not perfect in terms of keeping track of my income, but if you I guess if you keep on it and you make sure that your Spark account is linked and stuff, like it could probably track your shit pretty good. But for most people, I think, if you're not gonna make a spreadsheet and like be tracking all this shit, Gridwise will do that shit for you. Like you just link your DoorDash, link your Uber, link whatever, and it'll just like aggregate all your income on there and it'll tell you what you've made for the month. And then, and then you have your miles right there, right next to it, right? Um, let's see, as you can see here, the deduction rate. So I can deduct $10,000 of my income. That's a whole video in and of itself. Actually, I like that it's all right here. I might make that video today. Um, Anyways, so that's cool. I really like that shit. And then somewhere on here you could put your expenses. I don't know. I think you go right here. Yeah, you go to the plus sign and then you can put your expenses. So if you don't have your own like custom spreadsheets that you've personally made where you're keeping track of your expenses and stuff, use Gridwise. Like you just fucking go in here and just put your expenses and then you can just keep track of it all right there. That's a really good way to do it. But um I'm just getting that shit out of the way. The mileage tracking, I use that every day. But this is where Gridwise like sets themselves apart, in my opinion, um, is this feature right here. If you go to the Insights tab, and this is what I was trying to tell somebody on YouTube, um, if you go to the Insights tab, you got all this data here. Like, so I'm in San Diego. If I want to go, so I do food delivery only. I stopped doing rideshare. Uh, that's a whole nother video that I don't want to talk about right now. But if you go, okay, I want to see earnings. So that's average dollars per hour that I'm going to make. Go food, and then you choose what day and what time of the day. If you want to go all day, it's saying Claremont Mesa East, you're going to make the most money. Second one is Dally Ranch, Mission Valley, all that stuff. Um, so for me, I'll go and tomorrow's Tuesday, right? So I'll go Tuesday morning. I want to see where's the best place to work Tuesday morning. It says Mira Mesa. Um, you know, Personally, that's not really my pick of where I'm gonna work on a Tuesday morning. For me, I'm gonna be working in University City or somewhere, like Claremont or something like that. But overall, I would say that in general, this app is pretty accurate. It's kind of interesting though, because now that I'm making the video, it's showing me shit that see I wouldn't do. Okay, it's saying Wednesday morning, afternoon, you got University City coming up at the top spot. Thursday morning, afternoon, you got Kearney Mesa. Friday morning, afternoon, you got Pacific Beach. Yeah. So overall, I would say it's not perfect, right? Like, um, another way that you can figure out the best places to work is using Uber Eats, because on Uber Eats, uh, you can see like when a restaurant is like yellow or orange or red. And if you see a lot of red restaurants in a certain area, you know that like you want to get kind of towards that area. Whereas like on DoorDash, unless you're off Dash, which that's one of the things that is so annoying about DoorDash is that if you're on a Dash, then you only see the hotspots for your zone, and then the hotspots in your zone, you can't really tell like what's the best hotspot in that zone. so you don't really know which one to go to. And then like if a hotspot has like a bunch of red around it, that doesn't necessarily mean that that hotspot is better than another hotspot. It just means that the orders are spread out further. So like if like UT or what the fuck is it? Kearney Mesa Convoy. That area, the hot spot will be like in the middle, and then the red will be spread all over that whole area in my city, if you're familiar. Um, and that doesn't mean that that's a busier hotspot than another hotspot. It's pretty much what I'm trying to say. But um, overall, I think like this app is probably my favorite app. It's the only utility app, like I said, that I use in addition to the actual gig apps themselves. I really like Gridwise, so um, I'm not sponsored to do this. I'm not, I don't have a whatever, and nobody watches my videos, so uh, but yeah, I just wanted to share this app and hope it might help someone else.